Greendale Mall has been struggling for years now, and one Worcester City Councilor is looking into ways on how to give the building some new life.
Plus, Assumption College becomes the second Worcester institution to receive a military-friendly designation. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Anna Botari. A proposal to make changes to Worcester's Greendale Mall is getting a lot of attention across the city. District 1 Councillor Sean Rose is asking the city manager to look at the idea of having the 300,000 square foot property be an option for a new headquarters for the city's Public Works Department. Our Cam Jandro is in Worcester tonight with those details. Cam?
The Greendale Mall opened their doors in 1987, and at the time it was a high point for the city. But in the last few years, unfortunately, just walking through, you can see things have gone downhill with a lack of both customers and retailers inside. Now some in the city are looking for ways to get better use out of that building, and one of those ideas went before council tonight. Worcester City Councilor Sean Rose is proposing the city turns the Greendale Mall into headquarters for DPW.
You keep your Best Buy and your TJ Maxx in there and your anchor stores in there, and maybe wrap it with some DPW or some city services. At
Tuesday's council meeting, Rose requested the city manager explore consolidating the current DPW buildings into the mall.
To have to go to 3 different places to get something done is really not in the best interest of our residents.
Worcester's only enclosed mall, however, still has retailers inside. But even anchor stores like Big Lots have announced their closure. This cell phone video shows numerous vacant storefronts and very little foot traffic.
It's very just like run down and almost eerie. Like it's very quiet in there. I don't like going from one side of the mall to the other.
The mall was sold by Simon Properties in 2016 and is now operated by Key Point Partners. District 2 Councilor Candy Merrill Carlson says she's glad to see forward thinking, but feels the proposal is a bit premature.
The people who own this building, we don't know if they already have plans, right? So is this building for sale? Is it going on the auction block?
The Greendale Mall is actually in Councilor Carlson's district, not Rose's. But Worcester's District 1 councilor says his proposal is about getting the most out of the building.
I would even be open to the idea of a developer coming in and getting the mall and saying, I can make this into an efficient option for residents as it relates to city services.
Now, the proposal did receive mixed reviews at tonight's City's Council meeting. Worcester Magazine reporting Councilor Rose did amend his motion to strike the Greendale Mall and is asking the city manager to look at all options for the building. We did reach out to the building's owner, Key Point Partners, but did not receive a comment. Live in Worcester tonight, I'm Cam Jandro, Worcester News Tonight.
A community group in Northbridge is pushing for the town to renovate a war memorial and athletic field they say needs a serious facelift. Timothy Labrie is a Northbridge native and member of Friends of LaSalle Field. He says the current conditions are a safety hazard and it's unfit for the 17 different middle and high school sports teams who use it. He says they presented to Selectmen Monday night showing these renderings of what a new field would look like. The group asked Selectmen to place an article on the Springtown meeting warrant and a question on the town election ballot for an almost $3 million one-year property tax debt exclusion to renovate.
It's very important that it's now because I think recently we passed a school with an overwhelming amount of support, and I think it shows and it speaks volume for what the people in this town want and what the people realize that what is needed in this town. This is not a want, this is a need.
Labrie says if the question gets on the ballot in May and passes, kids in the spring of 2020 could be playing on a turf field. Cold temperatures across central Massachusetts, and with snow expected, Worcester's parking ban went into effect at 8 o'clock tonight. DPW crews were busy loading up their trucks and preparing for the weather event at the Salt Yard on Albany Street. Flurries are already beginning to fall and temperatures continue to drop. We'll get a full forecast in just a few minutes. This cold weather also freezing over water in the city. But before you head out onto the ice, you should know where it's safe to be. The Department of Public Works and Parks releasing a list of locations for safe ice skating Tuesday. The areas they've deemed safe to skate, including University Park, Burncoe Park, and Elm Park. The DPW says the ice will be measured daily and closures will be posted on its Twitter page. Assumption College has been named one of the nation's best institutions for veterans. It's a 2019-2020 military-friendly school. The college was chosen based on a number of things, including its peer-to-peer veteran mentoring program, programs to assist veterans with postgraduate employment, and customized academic counseling and support. This past year, Assumption created a lounge just for veteran students, giving them the ability to create a community of their own. President Francesco Cesareo says in recent years they've seen a small increase in veteran students, but he expects to see more. He says they've been focusing on their efforts to create a veteran-friendly environment.
The fact that as veteran students were looking at different institutions, that what they were looking for were institutions that would provide them not only with the academic programs they were looking for, but also with the support systems that would allow them to have an easy transition.
This May, Assumption will be offering a post-bachelor's degree certificate program and a certificate of advanced graduate study geared towards people becoming counselors for veterans and their families once they return from service. City leaders and the Pawtucket Red Sox introducing Polar Park Architects Tuesday. The group sat down to discuss future plans for the stadium and its surrounding area. They say it won't be your average ballpark. Our Rosalind Flaherty has the story.
The planned groundbreaking for Polar Park is less than 6 months away. Tuesday, the city of Worcester introduces the design team responsible.
This is an urban ballpark, and we wanted to complement the organic energy that's happening in the Canal District and the historic nature of this part of Worcester.
Somerville-based DAIQ will provide architectural design services for the ballpark. Watertown-based Sosowski Associates will focus on the urban design and the landscape around it. All say they want the ballpark to be unique to Worcester and want it to be a big part of the community beyond baseball.
We're sizing public spaces so that they can be appropriately sized for the game, but also be used for public meetings, public events.
It's going to be used by people and by organizations and by charities and by other sports organizations.
The plan is to break ground in July. Paw Sox president Dr. Charles Steinberg says people in the community have an input in the design. He has written down more than 400 ideas from the public to show the design team.
You build a ballpark that fulfills the vision of a ballpark that looks and feels and smells and tastes like Worcester because you're building it for the people who are going to use it.
The 10,000-seat stadium will be accessible for everyone. The team says they are also looking to make it as energy efficient as possible.
Whether the certification, that's maybe less important. The actual energy efficiencies and benefits, I think, are definitely a principle that we're pursuing with the project.
Rosalind Flaherty, Worcester News Tonight.
When walking into Main Event Barbershop on Chandler Street, it's hard not to notice the work of a local artist. It covers most of the walls. Owner Toka Legacy says the art is all done by the same guy they refer to as E. He says E walked into the shop a few years ago with some of his art pieces, and since then he's bought dozens and has them displayed throughout his shop. Other employees and customers started noticing the artwork and purchased pieces as well. Legacy says as a small business owner himself, he's happy to support it.
I do a lot of hair art, so I do designs inside people's heads that usually you'll draw on a piece of paper. So me and him were able to relate in that way. So being able to support him with his art, also have his art on display, it means a lot to him and also means a lot to us.
Toka says if people are interested in the artwork, they can contact him at the barbershop. A blood shortage during winter months isn't uncommon. Snowstorms and severe weather have canceled blood drives before. But this month, dozens of drives were also canceled because of the government shutdown. Our Brittany Schaefer has more on how this is affecting the American Red Cross.
The government shutdown is over, but its effects are still being felt at the American Red Cross. Tuesday, the organization announced they are in an emergency need of blood donations.
We had about 30 blood drives nationally scheduled at federal government locations, and due to the shutdown, we had to cancel those events. So that's just added to the challenging situation that we're already in.
Brian Jernigan donated his 321st platelet at the Worcester Donor Center Tuesday. The Southbridge resident says it's unfortunate the shutdown is is affecting groups who give to those in need.
It's just a really poor situation. It's something that shouldn't have to be. Like an organization like this or any like charity type thing shouldn't have to want for anything.
Jernigan comes in every other week to donate. He says a close friend is the motivation for him to give blood.
Reason why I sort of do this because a number of years ago, my karate teacher died from leukemia. These used to help treat leukemia.
John O'Rell has been donating for decades and says giving blood only takes 10 minutes.
I can't remember when I wasn't donating blood. The Red Cross makes it very simple and easy process to do, and knowing you're helping someone else is a very worthwhile thing.
The Red Cross says hospitals are currently using more blood than they are receiving. Account executive Katie Lawler says the possibility of another government shutdown is concerning.
We'll have to wait and see. We're hopeful that the politicians can come to a resolution so we won't have to cancel any more blood drives, but that certainly is a lingering concern. If that happens again, we might lose out on more donations.
And Lawler says they are in need of all blood types, but specifically O negative because it's the universal donor. Brittany Schaefer, Worcester News Tonight.